Kembali bersama kami di Diplomasi dan saya masih berbincang-bincang dengan Mr. Ambassador Singapura, yaitu Mr. Anil Kumar Nayar. Okay, Mr. Ambassador, talk about the Singapore. Okay, many big event, many countries like in the world that trust Singapore to be held their event. Okay, like President Trump and President North Korea, they have a summit in Singapore.
Yes.
Is it they chooses the Singapore or the Singapore government over the place? Can you explain about this?
I can say very honestly that Singapore was chosen as a venue for this very important and historic event because this was the choice of the two countries and the governments. Singapore did not offer itself to host this meeting, but once both countries decided that they would like to have the meeting in Singapore and they asked us, we readily agreed. I think this comes back to my point as I made earlier. We want to be relevant, we want to be a constructive and positive player in the international system. We are of course very honored that others trust us and that others think that Singapore is a place where they can come to have an important meeting and that everything will progress smoothly, everything will be done properly. It's very important for us to, for the rest of the world to give us this trust. And I think this is something that we will continue to work on.
Oke, ya pemirsa, kepercayaan ini tentunya akan memberikan kekuatan yang begitu besar ya bagi negara-negara ASEAN, Singapura dan juga Indonesia sendiri untuk terus berkembang membentuk satu komunitas the power of the Asia. Oke, so how about the Asian Games? Oke, how do you think about the Asian Games is also like a trigger to encourage the world, the Asia country to be a stronger and more stronger?
Well, first of all, I was very happy and privileged to be here in Indonesia when Indonesia hosted the Asian Games again after 56 years. So I was very honored to be part of this very historic event. And we know that the Asian Games that was held in Indonesia.
You also the match? The match?
The match?
Pertandingan?
Yes, of course. What I was saying is that we all know that from the start, from the opening ceremony, the Asian Games was a big success. The opening ceremony where President Jokowi came in the motorcycle, I think that segment was something that showed the rest of the world, I think, creativity and innovation on the part of Indonesia. Indonesia did very well in terms of the medals that it won. I think this is a record in terms of the medals that Indonesia won, as not only as a host but also in terms of medals. But more importantly, as a host, Indonesia held an Asian Games which everybody praised and everybody felt was a great success. Meaning on and off the field. I think it has done great service to the image of Indonesia abroad. And I think I can only congratulate those who are involved, Bapak Erick Thohir, of course, as the head of the organizing committee. Also the others who supported it, from President Jokowi, Vice President Bapak Yusuf Kalla, and also the governments in Jakarta and Palembang. And it was in a team effort, not only in the sporting field, a team effort for the whole of Indonesia, including the people of Indonesia, coming together to make it a big success. And I think it also showed that Indonesia can be confident about working together with the rest of the world. There's no need to feel scared about competition, or no need to have a negative view of competition. Indonesia can work together with the rest of the world and come up with a big success like this. I think that's one of the big takeaways for me from the Asian Games.
Mr. Ambassador, talk about the cooperations. What is the important things to enhance the cooperations between Indonesia and Singapore in the future?
I think our two countries realize that the rest of the world is not stopping for Singapore or Indonesia. There are a lot of things that are going on around us, around Singapore and Indonesia. Some good things, some not so good things. The question is, how can we take advantage of the opportunities which are there together, and how can we turn some of the challenges into opportunities for us? I'll give you an example. Everybody is talking about how disruptive technological changes are today.
Yes.
And how this is changing so many things. Jobs are being lost, people are feeling very vulnerable and threatened. But actually this is not something that is new. I think humanity has been dealing with this challenge for the longest time. So in the case of Singapore and Indonesia, two neighbors who have a long-standing relationship, relationship of trust and cooperation, how do we work together to take advantage of this situation, to provide better opportunities for our people? So when we had the leaders retreat in Bali in October, one of the things that was concluded there, we had an MOU signed on fintech. We had MOU signed on Industry 4.0, on educational cooperation. These are all areas where we think that our two countries can work together, not to repeat what we have been doing, but to look ahead to see how some of these changes that are happening around us, how can we turn them into opportunities for our two countries to work together. So I think this is the approach and the attitude that we should continue to take.
In your point of view, what is the crucial challenge between the Indonesia and the Singapore in the future?
I think we share many challenges in the sense that looking ahead, and this is not only unique to Singapore or Indonesia. For example, now the entire global economy is focused on saving jobs in terms of jobs for the people. But it's not a question of saving jobs, because jobs are always going to change. Some jobs that were done in the past no longer exist, and this is what is also going to happen in future. So it's a question of providing people with the right skills to be able to have jobs, to be able to contribute to the economy, and to be able to benefit no matter what happens in the economy. So it's a question of what skills can be developed, and this is an area where I think we are working together quite closely. For example, as you know, we have an industrial park in Kendal in central Java, Kendal Industrial Park, between a Singapore company and an Indonesian company, Semcorp from Singapore, Jababeka from Indonesia, working together. One of the entities that you have there is a polytechnic, a polytechnic that will provide skills to Indonesians so that they will have the skills to get the jobs of the future. We also have a digital park together, investors from Singapore and Indonesia, in Nongsa, in Batam, Nongsa Digital Park. There too, you are seeing Indonesian talent working together with Singapore talent, exchange ideas, and also to grow and develop together. I think these are some of the ways in which our two countries can move forward, regardless of the challenges around us.
It's very interesting that. Can you explain about the meaning Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia? We are serumpun.
Yeah, serumpun, well, some people talk about it in ethnic terms, some people talk about it in cultural terms. I tend to talk about it, or I tend to look at it in terms of our shared destiny and our shared history. The people of the three countries came together from a shared history. And going forward, also our history is going to be shared. And as I said earlier in our interview, we have to take an approach whereby it's not a zero-sum competition between us. It does not mean that if Indonesia is doing well or Malaysia is doing well, that is a bad thing for Singapore, or vice versa. No, it cannot be that way. I think we must continue to find ways to work together so that we are serumpun not just in terms of culture or affinity, but we are serumpun in terms of shared goals.